What is going on, everybody? Welcome back once again to Young Controversy with Devin Roberts, and I am happy to be here giving you my opinion today, and this is a great one. It's a revolution. And again, I'm always too opinionated on this kind of stuff, but I want to lay my 2 cents out for you guys so you can at least get an idea of what I'm thinking and what I think we should do on these issues. My opinion is going to update year to year, I am absolutely sure, so some of these things may be redacted, but I at least want to give my opinion now so later when I'm looking back on it, I can either see that I had a consistent opinion for years or how silly I was. I guess we'll see. But I'm going to give my thought process, I guess, solution, idea, for how we would solve the mass shooting problem in America. Because as a lot of people who listen to my podcast know, I'm pro-gun, I'm pro-gun ownership, I'm pro-Second Amendment, I'm pro-NRA, but I'm anti a lot of what has happened in the last years with the uptick in mass shootings, the uptick in firearm homicides, the uptick in the outcry for gun control. And I do personally hate guns, and what I mean by that is the sense that if I could have a world where we had no guns whatsoever, I would probably do it, mostly because I think killing each other with swords would be so much better. But past that point, I believe everyone should have the right to own a gun. I own a gun. I believe it's correct that we allow our citizens to defend their house and home. I believe that that's an important part of being an American citizen, is the ability to defend yourself. I'm a huge proponent of that. So I do think there's a right way to allow people to defend themselves, and this is where it gets complicated. I think that the biggest problem that we have with gun ownership nowadays is not so much a mental health issue like people are stating it is. It's significantly more a issue of how serious a gun is taken by the person buying the gun in most cases. It's very, very difficult in a quality gun owner's household to get a hold of his gun. His gun is hidden away where no one else knows where it is. It's hidden away in a safe. Most people that are taking care of their guns correctly have gun safes. So when you're taking care of a gun to that respect, and not telling people where it is, or even better, locking it in a safe, I think you're going to have a significantly less chance of children winding up with these guns and shooting each other. But even more importantly than that, I think the amount of training and effort and quality of practice that should go into the ability to buy a gun needs to uptick ridiculously. The ability to buy a gun is significantly too easy nowadays. Even for me, when I bought a gun, I bought it at 18 when I was able to, before they changed the law in Florida to 21. It's funny, I have a brother only less than 2 years younger than me who can't buy a gun until he's 21, but I was able to at 18 because we were just on the margin of that law, which is really, really interesting, I think. But my thoughts on it are kind of that it was significantly more difficult for me to get my license than it was for me to get a gun. And I know this has been spit out before, but I think it needs to be reiterated. The amount, if we even had equal training required to get a gun as we did to get the license to drive a vehicle, I think we would have a significant downtick in mass shootings for a couple reasons. One, because I think less people would get guns. I don't think a whole lot of people like to take tests and training. I think it might be worth it if you don't have to have it to people who get guns more casually. And I think when you get a gun casually, it's more likely to wind up in the hands of someone who wants to use it for something wrong because you're not taking care of it correctly. Another big reason that I think this would be effective is because we would have a significantly smarter gun ownership population once it was left. Once the people who weren't going to take care of their guns good in the first place anyway and didn't care to take the test, didn't want to put in the effort, casual buyers would wind up falling off the pack. The rest would have a significant bit more training, would have passed tests, would have had to come in and take a physical test, would have had to practice in front of an instructor, would have had to go through safety measures. Maybe we require you to buy a gun safe when you have a gun, or bring in proof that you already have a gun safe that can accommodate the gun you're buying, so that we know people have the ability to lock their guns away in a safe, away from children or people who may want to use them for wrongdoing. not a terrible idea. I think it's on the front end that we're messing up here. We don't need to regulate people's ability to own a firearm. And I want to debunk something that I believe real quick. No, I'll save that for another video. I am pro Second Amendment, I'll say, but I think a lot of people's argument for why they're pro Second Amendment is ridiculous and stupid. But I think that should be a different video. You know what? No, I'm going to do it in this video. I think a lot of the reason people talk about the Second Amendment is it's not about defending yourself necessarily from people around you. The Second Amendment was written for defense against the government, for the defense against the possibility of a tyrannical government coming and taking us over, like Great Britain had for so long to the colonies when we were originally America. The difference is then, and I don't want to sound basic here, but they loaded muskets, they had nothing. The government and military power could be matched by militiamen if handled correctly. We are not there anymore. We are not there anymore, guys. If you want to start giving civilians tanks and rocket launchers, then we can start talking. We may be a little more even. But if Russia destroys our military and decides they want to attack our people, we're probably not going to be able to beat them with any guns that you can find up the road at your local gun store. If our government decides that they want to take us out, that they're turning on the people and the military sides with them, let's say, I don't want to get into theoreticals here, but if we had to defend ourselves against a tyrannical American government and military, they have drones. They have nuclear weapons. There's nothing you could do. The technology is just on a different par. Civilian and government technology is not on the same par at this point. So your guns can't really protect you from the government. It can't protect you from a SWAT team. Like, it can't protect you from anything that comes at you prepared at this point. Our technology is just too advanced. It's just too much. So what I'm trying to say here, guys, is if you're going to argue your gun rights to me or anyone else around you, stop with you want to defend yourself against the government. Everything stacked against you. You want guns for a couple reasons: to hunt, to defend yourself if you or your family is attacked on your property, or in the case of concealed carry, to protect yourself in the case of a mass shooting or a shooter out in public. I think training for all the different types of owning gun, but specifically for concealed carry, should be multiple days, like skydiving training, like come 10 times, take a class over 2 months, 3 months, get your gun. And for owning a standard firearm, not getting your concealed carry license, it should still be a significant bit more training. But maybe y'all disagree. Maybe you think the way we have it is fantastic, or maybe you don't think that's enough. Maybe you think limiting clip sizes is a better idea, or arming teachers in schools, or putting veterans in schools to protect our children, which I could see sides for all of it. So please, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. I have my thoughts. I am extremely excited to hear your thoughts on the whole thing. But again, this is Devin Roberts with The Uncontroversy. I am so happy I got to talk to all of you today. And if you haven't checked out our Instagram page yet, or us at anchor.fm/podcasting, please go do so. It is one of the best podcasts I hope you ever listen to. I think it's pretty good, at least. But for now, this is Devin Roberts with The Uncontroversy, signing out. Peace.